More than 20 years ago, Roger Daltrey began forming special cancer units in the UK to treat patients in their teenage and young adult years, or 15 to 25. Now, with the other member of the legendary rock band The Who, Pete Townshend, they have formed the UCLA Daltrey Townshend Cancer Center and are planning more in the United States. We had the honor to be granted a rare interview with Mr. Daltrey. Thank you for being with us, and if you could just go back a little bit. When did you start these centers? I heard you on the Jimmy Kimmel show last night, and I was surprised that these have been going on in the UK for a while. When did you get involved with this?
Well, the idea and the whole thing was started by my doctor, my GP. His wife is also a doctor, and they noticed the situation that we had in England, where a teen of 12 years old with cancer, diagnosed with cancer, was being put into a hospital ward with children, and then when they were 16, they were slung out of the children's ward and went straight on to an adult ward, and they realised that psychologically, to a teenager with, a serious disease like this, with all the implications psychologically, impacted much more on a teenager than any other age group, really, because when you're a teenager, a spot on your nose is a big deal, let alone losing your hair or maybe other bits of your body. And they noticed that nothing existed. The teenagers, the age of 12 to 21 was our ideal. We actually go now from 12 to 25 because we've had people that have been treated on our units now for 21 years, and we're keeping them there just to make them feel at home if they relapse. But she just noticed that they weren't being cared for, and that to me just made complete sense, because all of medicine and all of medical care should be, number one, the priority should be observation of the patient, and if there is psychological support for an age group wasn't being given, then something needed to be done for it, and that's what we started doing.
And what year was that?
I think it was 89. I'm getting a bit blurred on dates because I've been on the road such a long time.
Sure.
But
and you have numerous units now in the UK, correct?
I'm just opening another one when I go back. We've got 2 opening in the next month. We've got 20, and we've got 10 under construction.
And what government agencies in the U.S., if any, are helping you now? Is our FDA, NIH, are you getting any federal support here, or is it all private sponsors?
At the moment, I've been talking about trying to get this off the ground in the States for probably getting on to 10 years, when I became heavily involved in the Teenage Cancer Trust in England. Because what happened in England, when they first started it, our national health system is a very different system than yours. It's open to everybody. The hospitals themselves would give us a space, and then we would make it teenage friendly. So we would create the environment for teenagers. So that was working out in those early days at around about $750,000 to set it up, with all the equipment we needed to make it teenage friendly, with the rebuilding and all that. But they gave us the actual building space.
Okay.
When I got heavily involved, which was in the year 2000, I did so because a lot of the hospitals we were given were in old Victorian buildings, and they were going to be pulled down. And in the new system that was coming through in England, our genius politicians had done this deal called a PFI initiative, where they were borrowing huge sums of money to build hospitals at extortionate rates of interest. But then to get our Teenage Cancer Trust units in those hospitals, we had to we had to actually pay for the space. So that then put our costs up from $750,000 to well, getting on for then was about 3.5 million. So I thought, well, something needs to be done about this. By that time we built 6 units and 2 were going to be pulled down. So I got together the Who and a bunch of musicians, and we did a concert, one just charity benefit, and we gave them the DVD rights and the recording rights, and we made enough money from that to replace those 2 units that were disappearing.
Okay.
And after I'd done that, I suddenly realised that more than just raising the money, we'd raised the profile, and the public it just caught their imaginations what we were trying to do, because I've done so many charities where we've raised millions. I've been Live Aid, Live 8, Kampuchea, you name it, we've been there. But this is something you can, you put your money in and you can go and touch it at the end of the day.
Right,
it's a creation. And it fired their imaginations, and overnight the charity grew at immense pace. In 2000 we were working it out by the number of people we had, and you have to do it by demography, because an empty hospital ward's no good to anybody. They all cost, you have to organise so much of your medical care and all that. You need to get the throughput being used to the maximum. We all understand that. And in those days we figured we'd need 25 units to give access to every teenager in England, Ireland and Scotland and Wales, provision. We figure today, because of the immigration boom we've had in England, we now need probably about 32, and we think we'll be there at 32 in 2014. But that's, so that's how quickly we've done it. And we've had to pay for the building of the space.
Right.
And there's no government funding whatsoever.
So in the United States, this was funded by what, the UCLA folks, or
no? This has been funded so far by a benefit that was done by Robert Plant, Dave Grohl, and myself. Okay. We did a benefit here in Hollywood, and we raised we did a dual benefit, one for autism, and one for to raise the money to equip this, because we're very lucky here that UCLA are building a new hospital,
right,
and they're going to give us the space.
Right.
So all we need to do is to create the space that is designed by teenagers so that they can be in it and be happy to be there, which is what this is all about. So we did that. We just did that one benefit show, and that raised that money. Now that's got it built, but that's going to need to be maintained. So I'm in the process now of getting Teen Cancer America as a foundation in its own right, that will go out and do fundraising and get parents involved and groups, school groups who have had. You've got to remember that it's 1 in 360 boys will be diagnosed with cancer. Your figures are probably the same as ours. 1 in 420, 430 girls. So it's quite high rates of cancer amongst teenagers. It's the #1 killer of teenagers, is in our country anyway. So where was I on the other thing? So the jet lag's kicking in.
Fundraising, I'm sure you might have thought of this, but the hedge fund community has a charity called Robin Hood. There's numerous...
Yeah, we've done stuff for Robin Hood.
Yep. Okay. I thought you might have thought of that. All right.
Well, that's what we're looking for. I mean,
yep.
At the moment, the UCLA are providing a home for any funds. If anyone wants to donate, you go on the UCLA website and look for Teen Cancer America, and make, funds can be made into that, and it's being held as an escrow account until we get the Teen Cancer America Foundation itself, which might be affiliated to other adolescent and young adult cancer charities. We don't know. We're just looking at it because it's stupid to have dual administration. But we just want to make, there's a kind of a slight bit of disconnect I find in America, because they seem to have adolescents and young adults linked together, and so they work it from the age of 12 to the age of 40. Now that is completely against the grain to me. I'm talking certainly about the age of 12 to 25 and not above that. You can't put a 40-year-old in with a 20-year-old. They don't think the same. They don't want to be together, you know, they don't want to be there, neither of them.
That exact point, Rose, caught my attention with the interview before you with the doctor, and I thought that was a little strange. So,
well, I do have that problem when I look at most of the programs here, when the medical, I understand because the medically, but we're talking about the actual space in the hospital where you put these patients while they're being treated, not the medicine. We're not interested in the medicine. Let the professionals take care of that. We're talking about the environment in the hospital, so that a teen can live the life of a teenager as much as he can, have it interrupted as least as he possibly can, continue their schooling, have psychological support for the parents. Parents, you know, suffer tremendously. There's very little thought gone into the support given to them. They have other children at home. It goes all the way through a family, this.
Right.
You know, it's enormous. And I just feel that if our ideal is to make this accessible to all teenagers in America that get cancer, whether they have insurance or not, whether they come on Medicare or whatever. I don't understand your system, but it's available to all. And that, to me, will be one tiny little brick of the future, where you're respecting the age group, treating them, not talking down to them, treating them as they are, respecting their differences and getting them through that bit. They will grow into better people. We will build a better society. And you know, it's a little brick, but it'll build a big city.
Right. What's next? Do you have a concert planned, or did you already do that?
What do you mean?
What's next, fundraising-wise, event-wise?
I haven't got any. What I'm doing at the moment, because we've only got this one unit in Los Angeles at UCLA, I'm off over to Duke on Monday to talk to Duke. They are interested in doing the same thing here as they're doing here. And again, it will be through the Teen Cancer America program. And then I'm going up to Yale, who are interested as well. And I'm just hoping, I've got the feeling that these universities are so competitive, they might, you know, if I can pick the coasts off, we might be able to fill the middle up quite quickly.
Well, thank you very much for your time, and
it's a pleasure.
We'll get this video out there, and thanks for your efforts.
Okay.
Have a good day.
All the best to you.
Bye.